Hey everybody, come on in. I just wanted to hang out with you for a little while. We're gonna chat. I'm gonna play around with this toy of mine, and we're gonna learn how this thing works while we hang out. I just figured we'd have a little fun and talk for a little while. So come on in and let's chat. We're up on YouTube and Facebook. I don't have any agenda. I just thought we could hang out. So come on in and we'll see where this goes. We always can go wherever we want. Never know where it's going to lead. The conversation can go anywhere. But I wanted to hang out with you guys for a while and experiment with some settings and get this stuff ironed out. So I figured we could hang out. So come on in, like and share, invite your friends. I wish I could invite people. I don't know how to invite people. There's people I wish were here, but I want to get into some stuff and I want to try some stuff out and see if it works. Like, I want to see if this works. What happens when I put that poll up? Do you guys see that poll? Is there a poll on Facebook? There should be a poll up right now. I'm trying to figure out how things work, and the only way I know how to do that is by doing them. So forgive me. But welcome to Me on Things and Stuff on YouTube, and welcome to the Facebook page on Facebook. I am the talking head on the TV, jammering about this and that. But let me know if you're here, and let me know what you want to get into and what you want to talk about, what you think's important. What I think's important is the awakening happening and people rising up. That's what I think's important, and what I think's important is spreading the truth. So I want to know, A, if you can see that poll on Facebook. Someone let me know if you see a poll on Facebook. There should be a poll. I don't know if there is or not, or if it's working. But let me know what's on your mind, what you guys want to talk about. I've been so consumed with this revolution, this political revolution, and the rigging that's going on, it's hard to think about other things. Is this glitching? See, that's something I'm trying to figure out, but it looks like we're having a little bit of a problem. I don't know why. I'm going to try to do something. I'm going to play a video while I attempt something in the settings and figure out why we're having trouble, and then determine whether or not we can carry on. So I'm going to play a short video for you guys and get it ready. And I'm going to try to tweak something in the settings and see if I can make some changes and get this working right. So I apologize, and I will be right back. Did you know that in 1952, President Eisenhower commissioned a secret society of the country's top scientists to be formed, whose sole purpose would be to go through all of the facts, evidence, and technology that exists to find out the truth about aliens and UFOs? Welcome back to Conspiracy Theories and Chill. On this episode, we are going to look into the Jasons, a secret society of the greatest scientific minds in the country that was formed to acquire all the information possible about aliens and UFOs, and then give recommendations to the government about extraterrestrial life, as well as plans for potential alien invasions and encounters. Originally called Project Sunrise when it was created by Eisenhower, the name is said to have later been changed to Jason as a reference to the story of Jason and the Golden Fleece. The name change is cutely attributed to a wife of a founding member, thinking that Project Sunrise was too plain and liking the symbolism of Jason better. The Jasons are known by many subnames to add to the layers of secrecy and confusion surrounding them, such as the Jason Group, Jason Society, as well as the Jason Scholars. The only consistent, actually, is Jason, always spelled with all caps in all known names for this secret group. Now, the founding members of the Jasons included many members of the famous Manhattan Project, which brought together almost every leading physicist in the nation to build the atomic bomb secretly during World War II. And the Jasons are said to be made up of mostly theoretical physicists and are supposed to be the most elite gathering of scientific minds in the United States. As a matter of fact, in 1987, the membership of the Jasons is said to have included 4 Nobel Prize winners. Today, the Jasons continue to offer scientific help that the government cannot find anywhere else. As a result, the Jasons are probably the only group of scientists in the United States that know the true state of the highest technology that actually exists. The Jasons are shrouded in what, on the surface, appears to be unnecessary secrecy. The group refuses to release its membership list. None of the members of the group list Jason membership on their official resumes. And the entire group is compartmentalized and secret. When it was began, there were supposedly 32 official Jasons, but in that 32, the top 12 were actually said to be in control. These 12 were referred to as MJ-12, or the Majestic 12. But working completely behind the scenes, the Jasons have guided the nation's most important security decisions. Now, these have included, but are not limited to, Star Wars, submarine warfare, and predictions about the greenhouse effect. The Jasons are also the ones that were responsible for the military recommendations known as Alternative 1, Alternative 2, and Alternative 3 that were put in place to deal with some possible alien-induced catastrophe that might threaten the Earth. Alternative 1 was to use nuclear devices to blast holes in the stratosphere from which the heat and pollution could escape into space. This was attempted during Operation High Jump. Alternative 2 was to build a vast network of underground cities and tunnels in which a select representation of all cultures and occupations would survive and carry on the human race. The rest of humanity would be left to fend for themselves on the surface of the planet. Now, this is currently in place. Alternative 3 was to exploit alien and conventional technology in order for a select few to leave the Earth and establish colonies on the Moon and Mars. Now, Alternative 1 and Alternative 2 have already been done. Is Alternative 3 in play as well? Well, for now, let's just take a deeper look into the Jasons themselves. This secret society is considered to be at the very top of the Illuminati. They are incredibly secret, as we said, but the Jasons have never had an internal leak in their entire existence. The only official reference to the Jasons is a mention of Jason Group in the declassified Pentagon Papers. The Jasons are a collection of the top scientific minds in the country, with ties and influences on all government entities, as well as the heavily influential Council on Foreign Relations, which itself is said to have had 5 members in the original group of 32 Jasons. The hits just keep coming with red flags of the Jasons' connections to the Illuminati, don't they? Another one that interests me, and there are many, is the numerology. The Illuminati love numerology, and a big number for them, as we know, is 33. And 32 Jasons reporting to one president just happens to be 33. From this point on in the discussion, most of what we're going to talk about is only speculation. But the most important thing here, as far as I'm concerned, is that the Jasons themselves are real. As a matter of fact, in March of this year, funding was almost cut to the Jasons. The Department of Defense announced March 29th that funding was going to be cut to the Jasons. but they have since received a temporary reprieve. That was an interesting find in my research for this story. That particular piece, finding that particular piece, is the reason that I had to make this video. I was just looking into the Jasons, actually in reference to something else, for a different video having to do with UFOs. But this brought me into the Jasons, looking at the Jasons themselves, because this proved that the Jasons are real. Now, I had heard about the Jasons before from William Cooper and other UFO researchers and truthers, but it was finding that particular story about the Department of Defense cutting the funding that piqued my interest in the Jasons. You know, everyone painted William Cooper as crazy when he spoke of the Jasons. And even in the research for this video, I came across many examples of his name being slandered, but they're real. The Jasons are real. And Bill was right all along. Now, also revealed in that same story, the membership in this secret society has apparently grown over the years and is said to now include 65 secret members. The Jasons themselves have a main operation or storefront with a board of directors, but the Jason members are all secret. And in this funding report that was released, it listed 65 members. But I think it's more like the cockroach theory. And what that is something that I made up. I think I made it up. But when you see one cockroach turn on the light, you see one, there's hundreds. So they say there was 65. Who knows how many there really are? Who knows how many people they really have control over? But in 59 years, a group with 65 members that are secret has never had a single leak. And the government supposedly can't keep a secret. Now, I think people drastically underestimate the government and the powers that be's ability to keep things secret when they want to. You know, it's been said that the technology that the government actually has is 50 years ahead of what we know about, and people don't blink an eye at that. Think about what that would mean for just a second. What would your cell phone look like to someone in 1969? It would look like magic. And that's what the true technology of the government would look like to us. Magic. And there exists a top secret, government-funded, secret society of top scientists that are in control of all that technology and knowledge, and in control of keeping it secret. That, my friends, is how you control a narrative. You get the top scientific minds into a secret society, and then you pay these great thinkers with what they crave the most: information and access to technology that is beyond our wildest imaginations. Then you swear them to secrecy and get them in line with your particular views and beliefs, and then have them spread those views and beliefs among the scientific community. Think of the power of that. A huge scientific conspiracy placed in high power situations, able to control what gets researched and what doesn't, what gets funded and what doesn't, what gets supported and what doesn't, and especially what makes it into the textbooks and what doesn't. On top of that, they also have everyone in power and influence's ear, so they get to control what is accepted as truth in the public view as a result. And that is the state of science today. And the Jason Society turns out to be the secret society that's at the head of keeping the true knowledge and technological advances from the public. They bury these stories, like the Department of Defense story, for a reason. The Jasons exist, and that proves many things, but it also implies a lot of other things. Now, Bill Cooper and other UFO researchers focus in on the alien part of the Jasons, but I found the exclusive access to knowledge and technology a lot more interesting. Plus, UFO doesn't automatically imply alien. UFO means unidentified flying object. They have access and control over all information and technology, with clearance at the highest levels. The power implied in that is enormous, and is also the final nail for me in the Illuminati connection as far as the Jasons go. Just think of what we already know is being suppressed and kept from us. free energy technology, for example, the cures to diseases, the truths of our own potentials. Now, just imagine what we don't know about, and then think of what all of those things could do for humanity, and finally realize that access to it is being kept from us. That's my main takeaway from this look at the Jasons, and I'm way more concerned with that than I am aliens, or the existence of them. Not that that isn't noteworthy, not that that isn't interesting, not that I don't understand why William Cooper and why these other researchers focus on that particular part of the Jason story. I just think when people look too close in that area, they miss the bigger picture with the Jasons. Like I said, in my research for this video, I came across many people like Bill Cooper who have covered the Jasons, and all of them were slandered endlessly for chasing the UFO element of the story. But like I said, what is a UFO really? It's an unidentified flying object. And that implies or opens the door to alien life, but it doesn't prove it or mean that you're necessarily talking about that. Now, I think there are UFOs, for example, but I don't personally believe in aliens. I think that what we think of as UFOs are really just crafts that exist that are so far advanced that we can't even begin to understand them when we see them. So for me, the real story here is that admittedly at least 65 of the top scientific minds in this country are involved in a secret society that has full access and control of technology and all information itself. Now, along the way in making this video, I became convinced that the Jasons really are the research and technology division, for lack of a better term, of the Illuminati, the lords of all information. The Jasons are the holders and controllers of all secret knowledge, and are said to be part of the Order of the Quest, one of the highest degrees in the Illuminati. The research for this short video was difficult, and I will be looking more into the Jasons for myself from this point on, as I'm sure you will too. And let me know what you think of the Jasons in the comments below. What I learned making this video, most importantly, is that the Jasons exist. But are they keeping knowledge and technological advances from society? Are they part of the Illuminati, using hidden knowledge to lord over humanity? Or do you think that a secret society of the top scientific minds in the country makes perfect sense, and there is simply nothing to see here? Let me know below, and thanks for watching. Remember to like and share this video, and hit that subscribe button to follow our channel in future videos. Alright, so I watched that video with you guys because I wanted to check some settings and see if we were okay. And I didn't see any problems on my end, so let me bring up the set again and tell me if there's any glitching or stuttering in the picture, because we brought that up so I could check some settings and I didn't find any problems. So, hey Paul, hey Helen. Paul says we're in our own personally built virtual reality. You know, I've seen a lot of compelling evidence that we live in a matrix, that we live in a computer-generated simulation. That is Paul, bravo, sir. Bravo, sir. I wish I could put this comment up. I miss Be Live. I miss being able to do that. It says JFK was shot in the face by a Hispanic kid hiding in the curb drain system. Bam! That's exactly right. I believe in that theory of the JFK assassination. I believe there were multiple shooters, and they failed to assassinate JFK, and then the driver stopped so that a last-ditch sniper that was in the curb drain could deliver the final fatal shot. I believe that's exactly what happened. Paul said the video quality was good. Dale said no problems with the feed. Cool. That's what we're doing, is ironing out some last minute things that I want to get figured out before tomorrow's Conspiracy and Theories and Chill. One of the things I'm trying to see is if I can run multiple polls and do interactive things that are fun for the viewers. So you'll notice me doing that maybe on Facebook if it's working. I don't know if it's working or not. And then I'm just playing with things and figuring out what they do. So if you notice something on YouTube or Facebook that's different, um, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to learn. Now that I have a computer that can actually handle doing it, I'm trying to figure out how to use it right. But I just put up a new poll on Facebook. Is cannabis medicine? A little while ago, I put up one asking if we'd ever been to the moon. So those are two things that are big topics for me. One, I'll vote in the poll right now. Cannabis is absolutely medicine. I fully believe cannabis is medicine and a miracle. I find it incredibly beneficial, and millions of people do. It is a crime against humanity that it is illegal. I'm a huge supporter of cannabis as medicine. But that's what I asked on Facebook for those of you on YouTube. I'm experimenting with running polls on Facebook. So I wish we had that ability on YouTube to do something like that interactive. I do like doing stuff like that, but yeah, I agree with that JFK theory, Paul. That's my favorite JFK theory, that there were multiple shooters, but the final shot came from a storm drain in the curb. And the driver of the limo had to have been involved and stopped the car so they could get a clear shot at JFK. Jason says, what software do you use? I use OBS right now. I'm thinking about trying to learn some different software systems for streaming. I want to figure out cooler backgrounds and things like that and open up some new possibilities, but I'm playing with the limitations of this particular software right now and learning what I can and cannot do. If I was more technically savvy, I could open a lot more doors. I could do a lot more things with it because it is a really good computer. Seems to be handling everything really well. Helen says she can't see the top fans' comments. I see them. Says video quality was good. We're in our own personal reality. I should have included that in the next poll I'm going to put up on Facebook. Hopefully I can see the results of these polls. Paul says he can see your comments, Helen. I don't know what's going on. But the next one I'm going to put up is easy. These are gimmies. These are really gimmies. Because cannabis is absolutely medicine. I would argue that with anybody. And I just put up, is 9/11 an inside job? Was 9/11 an inside job? For those of you on YouTube, you want to play along. Was 9/11 a false flag? Inside job? What do you think? I want to hear from you guys. This is going to be interactive. Everything we do is. This is live. I can see you. I can see you guys. So if you're here, take part. Take part in the discussion. I've got some stuff planned that we can do and some things I want to experiment with. I think I've got the videos centered really good. I thought that looked good when we played the video. I've got that set up really good. I just wish I could do a smoother transition to the video when I want to go to a video. But that's what I use as OBS, Jason. And Paul says, can you see me now, Helen? But this is the big one. This is going to be the theme of the stream, if there is one at all. What should we cover on Conspiracy Theories and Chill tomorrow night? Now, next Wednesday, I'm excited to announce, hey Larry, I'm excited to announce next Wednesday we are going to have David Long on. David Long is a Freemason, and he is going to do his best to explain Freemasonry as a secret society and how there is nothing nefarious about it, and we should learn a lot about Freemasonry. I'm excited about this and looking forward to it. But tonight, I want to know what you want to see us cover tomorrow. I've got a challenge set out for myself that all day tomorrow I'm going to work on conspiracy theories and chill and work on a new video. I'm going to learn how to do a video on this computer. I've got to learn a brand new editing software. So I'm making that my challenge. And the topics I asked on Facebook, in the poll on Facebook, were, would you like to see us cover Nibiru, Planet X, and go into that? Something that was requested by a friend that we go into deeper is Pizzagate, and talk about that more. I did a recent feed where we went into Pizzagate and discussed it, but would you like to see that covered a little more? Another topic I asked on Facebook is Epstein. You know, Epstein's moving money around, and that's important to focus on. So I asked that on Facebook. And then Assange and the Death of Truth. I've covered that a couple times, but I don't think you can cover it too many times. So I just published that feed on the feed on Facebook, hopefully. I don't know if it worked or not. That's part of this experiment. But what do you guys want to see us cover? It doesn't have to be one of those. It can be anything, any topic. But I'm setting myself a challenge to take a topic right now at the end of this feed. We're going to settle on a topic, and then by tomorrow, I'm going to put together a new video for the show, and that will be the topic of conspiracy theories and chill tomorrow night. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off, but we will see. Dell says, be right back. Got to put pants on if you can see me. I can see you. Oh, I can see you. I'm looking right at you. I got you. But Larry, not much. We're just hanging out. I'm playing with the new toy and figuring it out. Cameron says giants. That's a really good one. I almost put that on the list. To me, that equates with Nephilim, you know, and that's why I haven't touched it yet, is because I want to look into how I actually feel about it a little deeper. But I feel like you kind of have to cover those two things together, or maybe treat them as the same thing. I don't know exactly how I feel about it. I do feel like giants have walked and maybe still walk this earth. I believe there's evidence of that. So that's a good topic. But there's something I want to experiment with, and I'm going to get the nerve up to do it eventually. I am learning how to stream on YouTube. And I noticed that in the streams I've watched, they're able to play other videos. I'm terrified to do it. I'm scared I'll get demonetized if I do it. But they play other videos. It's weird. By the way, I'm taking part in a stream tomorrow on another YouTuber's channel, System Failure, at 9:30 a.m. Central. I'm going to be on, and I don't know what we're talking about. I guess it could be anything. I was kind of hoping there would be some kind of reaching out, and we would feel around the topics and whatever we're going to get into, but I guess everything's fair game, so that should be cool. So 9:30 a.m. on System Failure is the channel, and I started to say I think, but I'm positive that's the name of it. But I'll be on with him. But I was watching him today, and he was playing other videos. I would be afraid to do that. I would be afraid I would get demonetized. What is Mel's hole, Nissa? That's interesting. That sounds interesting, like Ong's hat. I recently covered Ong's hat. That was a really interesting one. Larry says I'd like to learn more about Bohemian Grove. That would be a good one to cover. But Larry asked, what's Mel's Hole as well. I want to know. Please, Nissa, tell me what Mel's Hole is briefly. As simply as you can put it. And it could be the winner because I love it already just based on the title. Mel's Hole. That sounds very interesting. I really wish I could invite people. There's certain people I wish were here. And I didn't share this at all. And my phone's on the other side of the room, so I'm not even going to try. But I can't invite people anymore on my phone. I can't figure out how to do it. I can do it on the desktop. On the computer, I can do it. But I can't do it on my phone. Larry says, is that the hole east of Seattle that's bottomless? Is that what it is, Nissa? Mel's Hole? If Nissa's still here, I am dying to know what Mel's Hole is. Jason says, what about if you only use the audio of a video? Will you still get flagged for that? I don't know. I don't know if I would get flagged at all because the stream I was watching, he was doing it nonstop. It was a marathon, which is also something I've noticed on YouTube. And this could only be the ones I've stumbled upon, but a lot of the live streams on YouTube seem to be marathons that go on for long periods of time. And actually, the amount of talking that I've been doing right now is a lot compared to what I've noticed on YouTube. It's mostly videos that people play. Now, I'm terrified to play anybody that's not my own because I have one copyright strike on my YouTube channel, and you only get 3. You get 3 strikes and you're out. So I'm afraid of getting more of those. Yeah, so Nissa says it is a giant pit. Google Art Bell in the 90s. Right on. So maybe Larry's right. A bottomless pit, giant pit. All right. So I will have to look into that. Helen says I miss Art Bell. That name is super familiar, and this has mentioned him a bunch of other times. I feel like I would know him if I heard him. I need to look into that. That's something I'm going to write down as homework, to look into that. Because I meant to before when you've mentioned him, because I just want to see and find out about that. But that's some good suggestions. So, by the end of this, we're going to pick one. I like Bohemian Grove. And the reason I like it is because it's real and it's not something that gets enough exposure and enough attention to it. But, so that's a good one. I'm leaning towards that and Mel's Hole just because of the name of it. It sounds cool. I just like the title. But let's see here. Did that last poll work on Facebook? Are you guys seeing them? How's that? I wish I could see how that would work. I hope that it's something that I'll be able to see in playback. Because I don't know what happens when I do that. I don't know if it's cool. I don't know if it's something I want to do going forward. But like that, does it come up right when I do it? I just put a poll up on Facebook. So I'm just curious, and I'm wanting to know what it looks like during the live feed. Because it might be something cool to do, and it might not. William Cooper's shortwave radio show. I want to do a profile on William Cooper for Conspiracy Theories and Chill. I have got to look into in researching more because I want to do. Dale says they show up just under the vid. Oh, right on. That's cool. I hope it's something I'll be able to see in playback because I want to be able to see what it's like, if it's worth doing. Because then I'll come up with cool little polls and things to ask and if it's neat. But I want to do a profile on William Cooper. That's something coming up from the channel. So join our channel, subscribe to our channel, by the way, on YouTube, Me on Things and Stuff. And if you're here on YouTube, thanks for watching. Take part in the show, though. This is live and interactive, and I want to hear from you. Nissa says Pirup. Is that... What is that? Is that a mistake, or is that a thing? I don't know if you were attempting to write something else, or if that's... Because that's interesting, if that's the title of something. Or a topic. Helen says they show up to the right of the comment box and left of reactions. Right on. Nevada. Pirup, Nevada. Now, see, you're going to make me look things up. I wanted to pick something by the end of this feed, but I'm going to have to look up what Pirup, Nevada is. You know what? I've got a computer right here in front of me. I'm not finding anything. Maybe I'm not spelling it right. I don't know. I'll try and find something. Art lived there. By Area 51. Thank you, Helen. Helen is on it. You rock. That's the good thing about having, and that shows how fast Helen is, because I realize that I have a little obstruction in getting to the keyboard, but she was on that answer faster than I could DuckDuckGo it. I'm trying to use DuckDuckGo. What? Tell me. Like I said, I'm not tech savvy. Is there a better search engine? I don't want to use Google anymore. So I'm trying to eliminate Google from my existence. I stopped using it as a web browser, and I want to stop using it as a search engine. So I'm experimenting with DuckDuckGo, but I would love to hear from somebody that's more computer savvy what a really good one is. But let's see. I want to do something fun, but I don't know. But what do you guys think? Mel's Pit? I think Mel's Pit sounds really interesting. Just because of the name. I gotta tell you, it's got nothing to do with anything else, because I haven't learned anything about it yet. But if it's a bottomless pit, that sounds fascinating. What do you guys think of Area 51? What do you think is there? See, I think at this point there probably wouldn't be much of anything there. I think they test things there, but I don't think there's any alien stuff there or UFOs. But you know I don't believe in aliens. Thanks, Larry. It's a town in Nevada. Aliens inhabit the pit? Whoa. Now, we're leaning towards Mel's Pit now, Paul. If aliens are living in the pit... Yeah, Helen, I agree. Area 51 is R&D. It's where they test all their secret stuff and their secret, top secret equipment and all this stuff that would look like magic to us. But that's what Area 51 is. You know what I've been playing around with? I just found it. There's all kinds of free music on YouTube that you can use, but it's really hard to find anything good. I've been searching through trying to find something good to use for bumper music. But Paul, I don't think there's anything better than Match Game 77. I really think that's the best of the best, and there is no better way to go. Let me ask Facebook a question really quick and YouTube. I'll ask everybody because this would be copyright strike too. Should I try playing a video that isn't mine in a stream? I've seen people do it, but I don't know if they may have been penalized for it. Paul says, I think Area 51 never had anything but a strategic leak to divert attention from the Air Force Base in New York. Very interesting. What's the name of that base? Because that might be an interesting topic. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to come out of this conversation with, is a topic for tomorrow. That's what this is really about. And to promote next Wednesday. Divert from South Pole. Where is this? Is that in response to aliens in the pit? That'd be an interesting topic too, the South Pole. That's a good one. I'm in a little bit of a rut, like uh, having trouble settling on a topic for the show. And we've covered a lot of good topics in the past, but there's some that I could cover again. I have to do a new Denver International Airport video. I've got to. Because I don't know if you've seen that, but I made it like I've been charged by the second. I'm speed talking in that video, so I have to redo it. I'm surprised it has as many views as it has, because every time I watch it, I cringe, because I'm like, why was I talking so fast? I don't understand. But then another one that I need to remake is the Clinton body count. But look at this. I just want to play this out of. I don't. It's 12 minutes long. If there's any interest, I'll play the Clinton body count video. But I think it's interesting to look at how far we've come. And then in like 3 years, it'll be interesting to see how much further we've come, because we're going to get cooler things and make advancements slowly. We slowly make advancements. But that's an older video. And if there's any interest, I'll play it. Paul says, do a show on Art Bell. His rabbit holes are like branches on a tree. So I need to look into Art Bell. I would probably like him. I may even have heard of him. The name sounds super familiar. But I will look into that. But this video, though, has been taken off on the YouTube channel. It surprises me. And it's got 126 likes and no dislikes. But it's one, you know how you're hardest on your own stuff? When you look at it, you judge it the harshest, and it's never good enough. That's how I am with it. So, but there's a delay, so I'm going to give it a little bit of time. But if there's any interest, I'll play it, because I want to show you what I'm talking about and how far we've come. Just in about a year. It's been probably a year and a half since I made the Clinton video. And it needs to be updated too, because the Clinton body count is a lot bigger now than when I made this video. It might be older than I think. When is it? September of 2018. That's when I made this video. You know what? I'm going to play it, because I got to get up anyway, and it'll be good, because I want to check some settings again and check and make sure everything's going okay. So, welcome back to another Conspiracy Theories and Chill. On tonight's episode, we're going to be discussing the Clinton body count. A very long list of people have mysteriously died around the Clintons, as you can see by this list next to me. Over 50 people tied to the Clintons have died suspiciously or committed suicide over the years. So many that I can't even make the names listed here large enough to be visible for you. Over 50 deaths around just 2 people, and yet no one questions it. There's no investigation, and not even any media interest into this weird phenomenon. Now, how can that be? Any good detective will tell you that there's no such thing as coincidence. 50 strange deaths around 2 people, and no one's even curious? For comparison, think of how many people you know that have died under mysterious circumstances. Now, was that number even close to 50? Mine was 0, but let's say it was 2. Now let's times that by 10, because the Clintons are surrounded by many more people than me, at least by 10 times. Now my number's only 20, and that's still not even half of as many that have died around the Clintons. Now let's take a quick look at some highlights of the list of deaths around the Clintons, and briefly go into how each of the victims were connected to them. 22 Clinton bodyguards have died under suspicious circumstances. 8 journalists who were investigating the Clintons have met strange ends. 23 witnesses in investigations involving the Clintons have mysteriously died. 11 political staff members, 13 lawyers, and 7 women around the Clintons have all died. The causes of these deaths range from 16 by airplane crashes, over 20 suicides, and a lot of suspicious heart attacks and strange accidents. Out of respect to those who have died around the Clintons, and to be thorough, I'll go through the list of deaths tied to the Clintons one by one right now. James McDougal, Clinton's convicted Whitewater partner, died of an apparent heart attack while in solitary confinement. He was a key witness in Ken Starr's investigation. Mary Mahoney, a former White House intern, was murdered July 1997 at a Starbucks coffee shop in Georgetown. The murder happened just after she was to go public with her story of sexual harassment in the White House by Bill Clinton. Vince Foster, former White House counselor and colleague of Hillary Clinton's at the Little Rock Rose law firm. He was also a suspected lover of Hillary's. He died of a gunshot wound to the head that was ruled a suicide. Ron Brown, the Secretary of Commerce and former DNC chairman, reported to have died by impact. I won't make you sit through all of that because it's 60 names that I go through. But I just wanted to show you real quick and look at that and show how far we've come in this short period of time. But let me bring this back up. Make sure anybody's still here. Paul says, hope you ain't feeling suicidal, Sean, after showing this. Yeah, right? Yeah, exposing the Clintons is dangerous. You know what? That's what I think's funny about Bloomberg is supposedly considering Hillary Clinton as a running mate. I wouldn't want Hillary Clinton that close to me if I was president. I would not want to be the thing standing between Hillary Clinton and being president. Because you are only one suicide away, and there, like I said, the Clinton death count is pretty big. It's probably up to over 100 names at this point, and that's just the ones that you can definitely connect to them. If you looked deeper, I'm sure you would find more. But for Top Fan, I'm going to experiment with something. Is this the best theme song ever? Someone tell me. Should this be the only theme that we ever use? I mean, is there anything better than this? I don't know. I'm convinced this might be the best theme there is. The best theme ever made. But that is Top Fan's suggestion for our universal theme. But I've tried making my own theme music, and I can't come anywhere near Match Game 77. Paul says Vince Foster shot himself in the head 3 times. That dude was determined. He was not going to fail. Some people fail at suicide attempts, but not Vince. Vince was very determined to be successful. And like Helen says, he had to be flexible to do it from behind. Paul says it's the greatest theme song ever. I don't get flagged for it. I used to use Mr. Crowley by Ozzy for Conspiracy Theories and Chill, and I would get flagged every time for using that song. I don't get flagged for using that one. But what I thought you were talking about was something else when you asked me if I feel suicidal watching that video. I thought you were saying because it was bad. The lighting was awful. Did you see that? I nitpick. I nitpick so bad when I watch old videos. And I always think I need to redo them. But I can't keep redoing everything. I need to make new topics. By the way, I want to plug a couple things really quick. Like, check out the Seeking Sasquatch episode of Conspiracy Theories and Chill on the YouTube channel. That is a recent episode where we interviewed a actual guy that goes out and seeks Sasquatch, literally goes out and looks for Bigfoot. And it was very interesting, a very good discussion. He was very interesting. So that's a good one to check out. The Ship That Never Sank is a recent remake of an older video on the YouTube channel. It's about the Titanic swap conspiracy. Check that out. Nissa says Kurt Cobain, did Courtney do it? I like this one too because I think she did. I think she did do it. I think she, at the minimum, had it done. It's kind of like the U.S. government in 9/11. She was at least complicit in it. Yeah, Larry. Larry says check out the Clintons and Mena, Arkansas. Absolutely. The Clintons are filthy. And they're connected. They're very powerful. I am shadow banned so severely on both platforms. I just started noticing that. You got to be determined to find my feeds. I see it's the same core group. You guys must have me on C first or something. It's the only way that you're seeing my streams. I'm about to take my friends list on Facebook down to like 1,000. I'm almost at 5,000 friends. I'm convinced that 4,000 of them have unfollowed me, which I think is ruder than unfriending. Please, if you ever get mad at me and you ever want to do away with me as a Facebook friend, don't unfollow me. Unfriend me. Don't stay on my friends list and be that person blocking a spot from everyone else that might actually want to interact and be Facebook friends with me by holding that spot. That's rude. I think that's rude. Don't you? Isn't that the rudest thing ever? Don't you think? Am I wrong? Isn't it more polite to just unfriend if you're going to do that, like than to block or do something silly like that? I mean, I can see why you would block someone being abusive, but I think unfriend is the right way. Paul says YouTube has a video by the private investigator who claims Virgin Records killed Kurt with insider help from Love. That sounds like a good video. I want to check that out. What do you think about the Chris Cornell death? What are your thoughts on that? Because I don't believe he killed himself. I don't believe that at all. And then there's another one this is fascinating. We could get into this a lot. Maybe we should do this. Weird suicides. Because Chester Bennington of Linkin Park, that's another interesting one. And another part of the Chester Bennington story that's interesting is his maybe daddy, John Podesta. He looks a lot like John Podesta. That's very interesting. Jason says legalizing cannabis day one. Bernie should win on that alone. Legalize cannabis. Cannabis needs to be legal. That is one of the most important things that needs to happen for humanity. I really believe that. I firmly believe it. Cannabis legalization is important. It needs to happen. And that is a big reason to vote for Bernie. I would vote for almost anybody that made that a priority. No, that's not true. They'd have to have a decent platform. But I could be swayed. That would be the carrot to dangle in front of my face. Sometimes I worry that Trump is holding that in his back pocket. Who thinks that? Paul says Chester is Podesta's son. Dude, it's compelling. He looked just like his daddy. Like a lot like his daddy. It's kind of like Barbara Bush and Aleister Crowley, because Barbara looked a lot like her daddy too. And Aleister Crowley is Barbara Bush's father. That's one that Steve, a regular, has been asking to get pushed. Is that one? That's another one we could do. I don't know. I'm having trouble picking and settling on a topic. I'm so ADD. Like I'll pick something and then I'll move on and pick something else, and then I'll get halfway done and I'll pick something else. I need to just stick with it. Pick something and decide and stay with it until it's done. I really want to get brave enough to play a video that isn't mine, but I'm scared to. I don't know what'll happen if I do it. I want to experiment though. I'm afraid to do it with something. No, they won't work with that. Paul says Merkel is Hitler's kid. You know, I saw that. Trudeau's dad is Castro. I saw that too. What? Is there any evidence behind that though? Like, this would be an interesting video if there is, because we could show a lot just with what you're saying here. And this just says Bernie will win if everyone gets to the polls. We could overwhelm this system, but it would take millions of people understanding, A, that that's what it'll take, and B, doing it, doing the work, and making it happen. But it isn't unrealistic. It could absolutely happen. I think it will happen. I hope it will. Because if it doesn't, we're in a lot of trouble. Something's got to happen. Some kind of revolution or rising up needs to happen. Because otherwise we're on a collision course for destruction. Paul says Chelsea looks just like her dad and nothing like Bill. What is his name? I never can think of it when I'm on the spot. But yeah, Chelsea looked just like her daddy. And Paul says the Obama and Clinton kids aren't theirs. Obama's, I've seen that, and they look just like the family that I've seen evidence. Oh, I got distracted by a comment. They look just like the family that is said to be their real parents. Paul says, yes, the evidence is there. Moms were secretary to the men. What? Merkel's mom was Hitler's secretary and so on. It's public fact. I'm going to look into this. This is good for a video. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off by tomorrow, though. How have the Obamas gotten so rich? Nissa, that's very good. You can't get rich in politics without being filthy. That just doesn't happen. That's the only way to get rich in politics. And they are filthy. They are very connected to the elite and the powers that be through the secret societies that lord over us. Hubble, that's it. You're right, Dave. It's Hubble. You're right. Or Dale. I called you Dave. I don't know why I did that. But you're right. It's William Hubble or Webster Hubble. You're right. I don't know if it's I don't want to say William, but she looked just like her daddy. You should definitely look into that. But there was an interesting video. I wish I could find it on YouTube that someone shared with me. Isaac Cappy was an actor who was kind of on the rise, and he was exposing the pedophile rings in Hollywood and met an unfortunate end. That was one someone asked me to do. Helen says speaking fees. Yeah, Obama got rich through speaking fees. Nissa says Michelle is a dude. I've seen a lot about that. I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel. Um, I know that if she is, I'm okay with it. And I could even see why they would lie. But, yeah, Dale, the Merkel's mom thing would be amazing to explore. Especially if I've got a few that are tied, like he's saying here. This is neat. That would be cool for tomorrow. But that would be hard. That'd be a challenge. But it might be the way we go. Larry says money laundering uranium one aid money for Cuba never got to them. Very good comment. That's a lot of ways Obama enriched himself. But another way is that they're like I said, they're tied to the power elite. They're connected and they're hooked up. Whether it's through a secret society or back channels, Obama is very connected. Like Hillary and Bill level, I think. Connected to those who are really pulling the strings. As a tool of them. He's not one of them, but a tool of them. But if you will excuse me for 5 minutes and 49 seconds, I want to play this for my son. He wanted to see this video on Skull and Bones, and I have to go and check on something anyway, so I felt like this was a good time to play this video. But I'm going to bring this up. Settings, and then there's just a few more things I want to tweak and make sure they're working right. But this is for you, buddy. Let's watch this together.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Our world is completely controlled by an interconnected web of secret societies, and tonight we're going to take a look inside one of the most well-known and powerful of all secret societies, Skull and Bones. Located at Yale University, Skull and Bones was formed in 1832. Every year, only 15 new members are selected into this secret society. Candidates are chosen based on bloodlines and their own individual power and influence and ability to help the society. New members are put through a satanic initiation process inside their literal tomb on Yale's campus. The tomb was built in 3 stages beginning in 1856 and finishing in 1912. The building looks like a literal tomb and is covered in demonic and satanic artwork and sculptures. Most interesting, though, is that the members of Skull and Bones are said to be literal grave robbers who steal and store the skulls and bones of famous people. The most famous person's remains that they are said to possess is Native American hero Geronimo, whose remains are rumored to have been stolen by none other than Prescott Bush in 1917. The family of Geronimo even sued the Skull and Bones for the return of the remains, but the case ended up being dismissed because the law that they were citing only covered grave robberies after 1982. And as creepy as actual grave robbing is and the storage of human remains, wait until you see this leaked video of their satanic initiation ritual.
The videotape provides a grainy glimpse into what appear to be the initiation rituals of a secret society that's been around since 1832, whose members have gone on to be leaders of Wall Street and the White House, the Senate and the Supreme Court.
They're sort of trying to scare the initiates, make them, disorient them, frighten them.
New York Observer investigative reporter Ron Rosenbaum accompanied a team of Yale students who shot these pictures 9 days ago. Rosenbaum's curiosity about Skull and Bones was permanently piqued when, as a classmate of George W. Bush, he lived right next to the Tomb, the group's heavily fortified home. From their perch, Rosenbaum and his cohorts taped the Tomb's courtyard. What they captured, they say, was initiates, known as neophytes, being forced to kiss a skull, then members performing a mock killing. It may look like your average fraternity nonsense, but Rosenbaum says it's not.
Even though it may seem silly to us, it seems to mean something to them, and you can't argue with the success of Skull and Bones.
True. Famous alums include senators, John Kerry and John Chafee, to name two, cabinet secretaries, such as Averell Harriman, and 3 presidents, William Taft, George Bush, and George W. Bush, who's been reluctant to talk about Skull and Bones.
Does it still exist? The thing is so secret, I'm not even sure it still exists.
Another part of the Skull and Bones initiation is to make members lay naked in a coffin and masturbate while confessing their deepest, darkest sexual secrets, while the other members watch on, surrounding them. And this is all to form a lifelong bond of brotherhood and loyalty among the members of Skull and Bones. They swear to help each other throughout life, placing each other in places of high power. For instance, in just their 187 years of existence, they have had only 2,800 members, but have acquired impressive statistics. Keep in mind that not all members of Skull and Bones are even known, and since 1982, no list has been published at all of Skull and Bones members. But just from what is known, we have 3 known Bonesmen as U.S. presidents: William H. Taft, George H.W. Bush, and his son George W. Bush. We have 5 Bonesmen that made it to the Supreme Court as justices. We have the first chair of the Criminal Federal Reserve Bank was a known Bonesman. Dozens of U.S. senators and congressmen are also tied to Skull and Bones. Another fun Skull and Bones fact is that in the 2004 presidential election, we actually had 2 Bonesmen running against each other in the same race. John Kerry and George W. Bush were both members of Skull and Bones. This group literally has influence in all branches of government, as well as hundreds of members in intelligence, media, and banking industries. That is a great deal of power for any one organization, and Skull and Bones is just one of the hundreds of known secret societies that make up the web of elite power that rules over us all. Think of what we don't know, and have yet to discover about the Luciferian elite that lords over all of us. It's important to inform yourself and others about the truth about who really rules over our world. Secret societies are very real and powerful, and Skull and Bones is a good, researchable, and verifiable secret society with enormous power and influence. So share this video to spread the truth about Skull and Bones and the satanic elite, and thanks for watching Conspiracy Theories and Chill. Alright, there we go. So that was for Zach there. He likes those. He likes the ones that have to do with real messed up things that our government has done. And that is an actual secret society that is heavily, heavily influential and very powerful and connected. You know, we had an election where 2 people running against each other were both Skull and Bonesmen. Jason says Trump would lie. He'd promise to legalize and then do nothing. You're probably right. Nissa says the New World Order. All right, let's narrow it down. I wish we could. I need to set up a new poll, and I can't do it on the fly because I can't get to the keyboard. But I want to pick something. Larry says the death of Lavoy Finicum at the Mulhare Wildlife Preserve by the state police, federal government, uranium one. Hillary Clinton wanted to get the mining rights. That would be interesting to look in. You guys are awesome with topics. I don't know how I thought I was going to run this by you and be able to pick something tonight. But to close up, I thought we'd do something fun. And as a reward for sitting through and hanging out with me, I thought we might read from my favorite book, Let Me Off at the Top by Ron Burgundy. So, while we mull over what conspiracy topic is going to be the winner, I want to see, and this is also an experiment hidden in disguise, I want to see something here. But this is from Let Me Off at the Top by Ron Burgundy, and I thought we would read from that, a segment from that. This is a book by a fantastic journalist that you may have seen in the documentaries Anchorman 1 and Anchorman 2. But he is a seductress of women, and as well as a fantastic anchorman. And this is What Kind of Breath Turns a Woman On. Hot breath on a woman's neck and face is an aphrodisiac. That's a scientific fact that researchers have proven. Not that I needed some murgatoid with a lab coat to tell me that a hot, humid whisper delivered inches from a woman you've just met in an elevator or in a buffet line like Joe Biden can often seal the deal without the usual handwork. The secret, however, is not in the force of the exhale or the distance. No, the secret is in the breath itself. What kind of breath turns a woman on? I've made a bit of study over this over the years, and here are my top 7 food combinations for effective hot breath. There's just no way these won't work. Let's say you're a hairy little man, like an American or a Greek. And on top of that, you have one of those dog faces common among Slavic people and Corsicans. To further complicate matters, you're sweaty and your penis looks like a burnt marshmallow in a bird's nest. You, my friend, are a big 0, but fear not. This hot breath stuff will work. Not every time. Sometimes it will have the opposite effect of what you're going for. But here's my list of recipes for effective sensual breath. Recipe 1, the dried up riverbank. Thick, musty, lonesome, and dangerous. That's the smell and feeling of a dried up riverbank. Women are terrified and turned on by it. How to capture it all in a breathy whisper. Simple. Shrimp dipped in stale beer and hot mayonnaise. Let it sit in your mouth for no less than 5 minutes. Work it into your teeth. This one works from a long way out. Try it in a room full of women and see if any react. More than likely, those that do won't be classy, but they'll be moved by a memory long since buried that only the rancid smell of dried mud can recover. If that memory is a pleasant one, and often it is not, you are in business, my friend. Recipe 2, the foreign element. If you've ever been to Europe, which I have 5 times for pleasure, then you know the smell of a European cafe. It's absinthe and rich tobacco with a hint of old world standing urinal. It's a delicious smell that when delivered the right way can turn a frozen ice queen into a non-stop volcanic eruption of hot love fluids. But who's kidding who? Absinthe is expensive. Here's a way to get the same scent in your mouth on a budget. Take an onion, let it sit in an open can of motor oil overnight. Put it in a blender with stale cigarettes and coffee grinds and drink. Voila, European bar. If you can get a whisper a few words of French like Miss and Scene or gently sing an Edith Piaf song within a few inches of her nose, that adds an extra element of continental spice. Some women find this irresistible, others resist it, but stay with it, they give in eventually. I'm not going to continue. I should have picked a better one. I didn't realize there were 7, but I'm also stumbling all over it. But that is the best book ever written, by the way. It's Ron Burgundy, Let Me Off at the Top. But thanks for hanging out with me for a little while and watching this. And the experiment buried in that is I'm trying to see if that gets me flagged. I tried doing an audiobook version of my favorite Stephen King book for the YouTube channel, and that's my copyright strike. So I want to see how good the little algorithm is and if that little segment gets flagged. I probably shouldn't have mentioned this, because if I have a troll, all he probably got to do now is report the video. And then I'll cancel my whole experiment, so I won't even be able to find out if it was because of the words. I want to know how much they listen to. But thanks for watching and hanging out with me, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for Conspiracy Theories and Chill. And I'll have to pick a topic out of this thread and see how that poll turned out. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later.